Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to In Between the Gray. It's Anna, and unfortunately, Mel isn't able to be here today. She has a prior commitment. However, I do have some special guests to join me today. I have Liz from last week, so we can continue on our conversation. I also have Frank from Speaking It Real and Ovi from what's that wrestling show called again? Just kidding. HHW show. Welcome, you guys.
Very funny, Anna. Very funny.
That was good. That was good.
Well, thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
And it's always a pleasure being on In Between the Gray.
I'm sure it is. You always like being in between something. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we have to.
Hey, Catherine, right? So now that we have two guys on the show, let's go ahead and go back, rewind a little bit last week, and get your guys' right. Get your guys' perspective on divorce, dating with kids, because we all have kids. What it was like for you guys to date again after sex. After sex.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Well, let's see. This went real quick.
I see Anna was trying to get to the point real quick. It was like, you know what? Just end your business quick. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like dating in 2022.
I know, right? The online dating, all that good stuff. So,
I first of all, I enjoyed your show last week. And I think we spoke offline a couple of days afterwards and stuff. And I think that the message that you're giving on the show is very important because there are a lot of people that experience the similarities of what you had your discussion last week. I forgot the other lady's name that was your guest on the show.
Melinda.
But Melinda, Liz, and you know, there's a lot of ladies out there who experience the same situations as you guys, you know, and they haven't been able to communicate with others, you know, some, and I'm not saying just women also, because men deal with it too, and everyone handles issues their way, right? Everybody's different, but you get to a point where people get depressed and they lose themselves, We're talking about happiness, about you got to find your happiness, you got to find your soul. And how do you do that? That is the number one question, because not everybody knows how to find their identity. You see what I'm saying?
That
And
that
so
is absolutely
that's
right, and that stuck with me the whole week.
right. So how can we just sit here and say, you know what, I got divorced, and then all of a sudden, I just had to find myself and blah blah blah. How could someone do that? Because there are people that don't know how to handle stress. They use alcohol or drugs just to get by because they don't know how to deal with the problem, right? Or
That's
you have spouses that to get divorced and they're stuck with the kids. You know what I mean? Very rare, or maybe there
amazing.
are those that both parties are always involved, even though they don't live together. But then there are parties where they get divorced. They don't want nothing to do with each other. And the ones that are suffering are the
The
young ones.
kids. Yeah,
You
exactly.
see what I'm
My
saying?
son
So
went through
there's
that.
so many factors. So I hope that at the end of your show today, that at least we start that bridge of going to that direction of finding their happy place. And if they cannot and they still stuck being depressed, where can they go?
Medical help, to a therapist, to a psychiatrist, going out there and finding professional help. But being able to accept that you need the help is the first step, and not to be afraid to say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I need a professional to come and help me
And also knowing that not going to the first therapist is going to be probably the answer. Sometimes it's like shopping. You have to go to multiple
and
therapists
find the
to
right
find the
one
right
for
one
you.
that
You're absolutely
fits for
right.
you. Especially, obviously we're all brown people here, except then, and I don't know what color you are.
I'm Carmel. I'm the
I'm just
leche.
but
You guys are the
honestly,
cafe.
yeah.
Yeah, but look, I think going to the therapist and all is great. Okay, but I also think that depending on the individual and the type of relationship or divorce that he went through or she went through, it also takes two people to heal. I mean, you guys know mainly my story with my ex-wife. We've been at each other's throats for years, but somewhere along the line, everything started changing. We started getting along, and we've always tried to put our differences that we've had because of the child, but he suffered a lot because he will see that. But it always depends on those two individuals too, because I could go to therapy, I could be okay, doctor say, hey, you're good to go, and I get over everything. But if she's here going wow 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 on a constant basis, that screws around with your psyche.
Yeah, but that's also learning
Yeah,
how to
but
deal with your
that
triggers
goes
too.
to
You learn because I deal with it.
exactly, because that's
I
one
deal
thing that
with
they
it
teach
all the
you.
time. It's like, why are you barking? Like, we're good. I don't care. So,
Exactly. And you don't
but
let it
that's
affect you, because once you know what
correct.
your triggers are, you know how not to get to that next level. As a matter of fact, I have therapy this Monday. I go every 2 weeks for my therapy. Do I really need it right now? No, because she's amazed that I understand my triggers, I understand my mind a little bit better, but I'm doing it for myself to continue to grow and continue to learn and to continue to stay healthy, because once you think it's okay, that's when you get that one trigger when you're like, "Shit, why did I stop going?"
Hmm.
So it's nice to have somebody that unbiased to everything.
I take the kids to therapy too, just so they have, especially because they're so young. I want them to understand themselves on a different level. Because I think if we would have all had that, we would have benefit from it down the line.
I like the way you said it earlier about, it's like shopping, right? You try to find the right therapist to help you out.
Hmm.
And I remember the time that I had went, and one questions that they asked me was nothing about what's going on in my current state. It was, well, let's do a background on you. You live with your mom? Did you live with your dad? Did you witness something when you were small? Did you do that? I mean, it was so much, and it was frustrating because it's like, look, I don't care what happened back to back.
Right, baby.
I got some issues now. And then I was so naive. I had this I wasn't thinking outside the box. I wasn't with the therapist. Me and the therapist, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. right? And not understanding that, how could that person know me if he doesn't know my background, right? And that's the
Exactly. And that's how
misconception
they
that
figure
people
out your
think,
triggers.
right? So, I didn't think about that till afterwards. And I'm like, damn, I messed that up. I can't go back to him. I already told him to F off. You know what I mean? So I said, well, the next one, I'll treat him right. Let's see what happens, But then it's always that whenever I leave the session, I'm never that same person because I'm already pissed off, because I didn't accomplish what I wanted. But in order to accomplish something, it takes time, you know? So,
And that's another
Exactly.
thing
That's
too.
why you
People
have to
think that
well,
they
continue to
yeah,
go.
it takes
mhm.
time to go to therapy. It takes time. It's like anything in
Look,
life, understanding yourself.
I'll
It's
tell you
it's
this:
another
the
relationship
first
too.
the first time that I went to therapy after my divorce, again, it we did what Elizabeth was doing with her kids. Her kids were going, so they understood one or the other. So I wasn't really for it, but I went. I walked out of that place the first time saying, "Look, I'm not coming back. You both are a bunch of jerks." Speaking to my ex-wife and the therapist, because I felt like I just got attacked, and I was like, "Not, not going." So whatever. Four years down the line, we okay. Let's try going back again. That person was great. She suggested a couple things that we do, and is where her and I grew as parents towards my son. So again, it goes back to what Liz said. It's the shopping. You got to shop. You got to find to see which one works for you.
And also my ex-husband
Hold
is
on,
not part
technical
of.
difficulties.
You good?
Are you good at it?
Because we hear you fine.
I don't think she can hear us. That's the problem. But
Are
now, Liz, go right
you
ahead.
guys
I'm
talking
just
Yeah.
about
I'm just
that?
saying my ex-husband doesn't go to therapy with me, and that's all right. I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing it to be a better version for my daughters.
And for yourself.
Definitely. Oh,
Exactly
you could
right.
hear us. Okay. Yes. For myself, definitely, because self-love comes first.
I think what's going on is Anna's panicking over there because maybe
Yeah.
we said something that triggered her. So she was like malfunction. I don't know what's going on.
He needs
No,
to go get another
I know we
therapy.
got to do it Monday, not today. Oh, next Monday, not today.
no. But I like how Elizabeth Garcia, well, her what she stated was not only shop, you have to want to heal and learn from that therapy. And
That is
you're absolutely
true.
correct. You
That
want
is
to
true.
have it. If you have one sided, or, you have certain goals that you want to achieve and it hasn't been met, then that's something that you want to sit down and talk to that person. Right. My ex went to therapy with me and the kids, and he always left upset. Catherine, I was the same way, and that's part of the process. you know Nothing's ever perfect, but you rather feel those emotions in that therapy session than having those emotions and not know how to deal with it at your home. That's
Hmm.
the biggest difference maker right there, and trust me, I know this from experience.
Definitely. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's you. I'll tell you, the first time I went to therapy with my ex-wife, I didn't want to be there. So I tried always to find every single excuse not to go. And when I finally went, like I said, I felt like I was bashed. And I was like, F you guys. I'm
Well,
not
hold
gonna
on,
be
let's
here.
take, let's stop right there, Frank. Well, let's ask the main question: why didn't you not want to go?
Because you know what? It was my divorce was already nasty enough, and I didn't want to be in the same room with her, to be honest with you. I didn't want to be around her. I didn't care anything to had to do with her. I mean, yeah, I didn't really think that my son at that moment needed it. So I'm like, why am I gonna do a family therapy now when we were a family, we didn't even do it.
Right.
So my mindset was like, why can why do it now? And
Mm, That's kind of ignorant on your behalf, though.
No, but at that, yeah, you're right. I mean,
I think he admitted that he was ignorant
I,
about it.
I'm just, I
But
just had to throw it out there. I couldn't even like pretend, dude.
but Liz, I mean, how
no,
many
but
times have you been upset about something,
Oh my goodness,
right?
I'm
And
gonna.
then even think about it, and then you started reacting because you were so upset instead of saying, you know what, I should have took a deep breath, relax, figure this out before you react. You
No,
know,
no,
it
no,
happens.
exactly. No, I get it,
Mhm.
and I'm not. I'm just teasing him because he's my older cousin. I'm just teasing him, but really, the truth
Well,
of
in
the
that
matter
case,
is, yeah, no,
no,
I feel like it's taken me 39 years to grow up and understand things from a different perspective because I've always been a brat,
you're
and
still a
therapy has
brat
helped.
and you're not grown.
I'm a mature brat now. No, but it takes time, and no, I look at things. I could point out the finger and say, the blame was all on my ex-husband, because we were married for 11 years. It was all his fault. No, I had not. When I sat down and really evaluated my situation, yeah, I never physically cheated. I never stepped outside the box, but I was annoying. I mean, I'm still kind of annoying, but I react differently to situations, and I think it's okay. It's okay. So I get it.
I
I
think you and I relate to each other because I was also my first marriage 11, maybe 12 years. I don't know, I lost count after 10. But yeah, I was married that long and stuff. So I definitely understand. And then it was that normal way of life for so long that once you finalize everything and you be like, well, what now? You know what I mean? I had this lifestyle. Now I'm gonna move on to another chapter, but which direction am I going? What path is this going to take me? And that's the focus people fear about.
No,
You know,
seriously,
people.
like even dating has been because all I know how to do is be a wife, and I'm not a wife anymore, and I'm not trying to play that role. So even dating is that's why I took a step back from dating because I don't know how to date. I got with my ex-husband when I was 22 years old. I was divorced by the time I was 35. So from 22 to 35, I didn't know how to I don't know how to date. And that's what
well,
I'm learning.
well, so dating comes up with new relationships, right?
Mhm.
So how do we deal with that? How do you go ahead and start dating? How
Easy.
would you?
Be yourself. Be
Oh, I
you, and
messed up.
don't bring the baggage with you. That's the number one thing about it is if you go into a relationship, you don't want to be discussing about what happened previously.
But
Because
that's
that
where
right
healing
there,
comes into place.
that right there, if you have to talk about the past, you're not perfectly healed.
Mhm.
Bottom line. You're not over of what happened. You're not ready to move forward. And that's where you got to be honest with yourself. Are you willing to move forward?
That is 100% accurate. In my case, I started dating someone and I had to take a step back because I realized how immature I was and I wasn't ready. Hey, welcome back.
Yay, your new co-host, Elizabeth. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys. I don't know what was wrong. Frankie and I fixed the internet the other
That
See,
day.
you just
what
said right
happened
there.
is,
Frankie fixed it. That's
I
what
and
seriously,
happened.
and
You
the
just
problem
said
is you right there. See, you admitted it already. It's you.
I got a problem.
when in doubt, blame Frankie.
Frankie did it. You know, everything Frankie touches gets bleh.
But nowadays, people communicate instead of meeting face to face. You got one of these, Now everyone relies on this. Just like when people start driving on the highways, right? Where's their heads? You think they're paying attention to the road, or they're just always looking down?
Mhm.
Everything's always about this, and people could like do background checks without even paying for a background check. Everybody know your business already, so you
Mhm.
already know who you're supposed to meet up and stuff like that. So I mean, the
No, it's
world's
true.
changed now these days, especially
Hey,
when you're trying to establish that.
you know, and I'll tell you, when I started dating again after I got divorced, it didn't matter who I met. I would actually start searching them on the internet, and I found a couple records on the couple females that I had met. I was like, oh damn, what am I getting myself into?
Porque te va a
You
cortar
know?
el huevo si te portas mal, ¿ah?
Yeah. I from those I ran. From
He
those I was
wanted
like,
to make sure.
bye.
He
You
want to
know?
wake up with his things attached. I know. I got you, brother.
Well,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
when
need
I
no
worked in the
Lorena
sheriff's
Bobbitt on me.
department.
I used to do federal background checks.
Good Lord.
Hey, you never know. And having a Cuban daddy, forget it. That was back in the days.
Mm.
Oh, there's
Oh man, I can't
Chuchi.
believe it. Now,
Sorry,
all
it
the
was
dirt's
freezing in the
coming
house.
out
I had to
now.
go turn on the heater. I'm sorry.
That was a big pause right here.
What happened?
She
Yeah, I'm
froze.
sorry. I think we had a lot going on in backgrounds all over the place. You know,
Okay, is it Frankie's or is it mine?
It's definitely yours, Anna. I'm sorry.
I think because I got
yeah.
all my bars.
Well, on this case, not to lose
Well, I guess I'll keep
the
on
spot
talking.
and everything
So I
else.
don't know what I missed. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
You know what?
But going
I have
back
an idea.
to
I'm just gonna mute her.
Yeah, man. Do
dating
what I do to you,
after
Frank. So, Liz, if you don't know, I also
God,
host the HHW Show podcast every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I have
Okay.
Frank with me. So every time when Frank throws a curveball at myself and my other host, Hector, he usually disappears out of the screen.
Like that, like
You
Anna
know,
just did.
it's all good though. It's all good.
Oh,
Let's,
she's back.
you
She's
Um,
know,
back.
I think she's having. I think Anna. I think you're having internet issues today.
I was gonna say, it looks like internet issues.
I
yeah.
can't. Anna, you have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you for some reason. No, she's done.
Yeah, she's
You
out.
know, I wonder if I should take a picture of this.
Stop. You
That
know
would,
what? You don't have to because you can always replay it and then we just, snag it or what was that? Picture screen, everything, the whole nine
yeah.
yards. We got you, man. Don't worry
Oh
about it.
yeah, definitely.
Look
I
at
She
that.
got
went
it.
outside.
She took her
Must be
phone.
nice.
the kukui. Hold on, I gotta get all this shit off here. Hold on. I'm gonna get some light.
That's
Can
a
you
lot of
guys hear?
issues over there, I tell you.
Is this
Oh
what
gosh.
happens on live TV?
No, I guess I've never seen this. I'm just gonna do this for now, and you know what? Let's continue the conversation. I mean, where were we here?
I'm watching your replay right now on Facebook, and I'm like, because it's like a at least a
But that-
5 to 6 second delay, and it's
yeah,
just
11
hilarious.
seconds.
Now I feel like I'm in what's that movie? Um, oh, it'll come back to me. It's one of those movies that's real life stuff going on, right? Blair Witch Project. That's what it looked like.
I'm back. Can you guys see me better? Can you hear me better?
Oh yeah. We saw
Yeah,
you
yeah,
all the
yeah,
way.
yeah. We
Mhm.
saw you all the time.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were wearing pants.
Oh,
You know what, man? Oh my god. That would get you a lot of ratings right there.
I know, right? Could you imagine? You have to make sure they're new too.
Que no tengan hoyo.
I know, right? But the one down there where it's supposed to be are the good ones.
Whoa.
Espérate.
Wait a minute.
What
Which
what are we
direction are we
talking
going
about?
on this?
Yeah. What is it we're talking about now? I got lost.
You want me to go get him? No, I'm just kidding.
Eh,
I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
I don't
I'm
know.
just kidding. Let's rewind.
Well, shall we rewind? This is sponsored by the CNG Sports Podcast Network, or I should say Clovercrest Media. So go ahead and visit clovercrestmedia.com so you can catch up with this brand new show hosted by Anna. And I want to say thank you for inviting me over to your show. We were talking about relationships, the aftermath of the divorce. And we had a great conversations until you decided to get lost somewhere in the internet world. So I'm glad that you're back. So we would like
Thank
your
God you guys are
input.
here to save my ass.
We would like your input as to your experience, the aftermath of the divorce leading into a new relationship.
It's very hard. I was actually 5 months pregnant, so I didn't date right away after divorce. It took me about a year and a half to actually start dating again. And then it was hard to trust anybody. And then you have a kid, then you don't know which way you're going to go. So yeah, it was real hard getting back out there, putting myself out there. Self-esteem issues, talk about gaining weight, being fat, being a mother, leaking, all the new responsibilities, and like you
You was
have to
talking
pick
about
your
the pictures and stuff. You were talking about before we even started this podcast about you had a before, during, and after. Did you care to share that with the viewers?
Sure. Yes, please. Let them see my before, because I really let
Because I
myself.
remember you from the before, because it's been that many years ago. And matter of fact, that very first picture, I think I first met you back in 1999, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
98, 99,
98,
98, 99.
99.
Yeah.
right? During that time
Yep.
frame,
You guys were in
right?
Killeen.
Right. And you was living in Texas and stuff. And then as years went down the road, the new and improved.
Yes. Lots of work and dedication, and you can see how happy I am too with myself. And it takes a lot of that self-love to be able to get yourself
Mm-hmm.
And I
into that
definitely like
spot.
the quote that you have there because it says you become what you believe. And with that, you just finished saying that it takes hard work. So tell me what is the hardest work that you had to like, what was your discipline to achieve your goal?
It was to actually love myself, to know that I didn't gain weight overnight and I wasn't going to lose it overnight. I had to relearn to eat. I had to relearn how to exercise, how to love myself, and how to become happy again. Because you can tell that first picture, I was not happy.
Mm-hmm.
I pretended to be happy. Oh
I
my,
was about to ask you about that.
I
You
pretended
So
to
pretend.
be
why
happy.
pretend to be happy? I mean, what
You
was
don't know
wrong
any
with
other way. You don't know
what
any
was
other
wrong
way.
with the with that first picture?
That wasn't me. I've always been a thin person deep
Okay.
down inside. That I knew there was a skinny Anna in there and she was dying to get back out, but I let my emotions, I let my depression, um, you know how you people depend on when they go through depression, they either go to drugs, to alcohol, to food, to sex. There's all different kind of things. And I had food issues. I could control how much I ate. I could control how much I threw up. I could control the feelings that I would have when I would eat, and it was just something that I could control.
So okay, so that was picture number one, right? The top one. So the middle picture, where were you here on this part?
That
Like,
picture was last year.
okay, so that was already towards the ending of your transformation.
Yes. Well, towards I would say, yeah, towards the end. And of course,
Right.
I
Well,
gained all kinds of confidence. Shoot, I hadn't seen my collarbone in years. And I mean, you can just tell, even I'm looking at myself and I'm like, those
So
are
you
three.
control a lot of portion of the food intake, but did you also exercise? Did you like join the gym? I mean,
Yes.
did you do anything extra?
Join the gym, would go to the park. Actually, Melinda would hold me accountable, especially during COVID. Um, she would hold me accountable on making sure that I got my miles in for the day.
That's
Nice.
awesome to have support system. I mean, look how
And
great you look. You could tell you're genuinely happy.
and it's just
And look in
and
the first picture, you're forcing it. And I have the same pictures. I have the same overweight pictures where I thought I was happy being overweight and I really wasn't. I really wasn't. Same thing.
but we have to pretend. And I would always think,
Hmm.
well, Chuchi says we're not fat, we're extra sexy.
Nah,
I
screw
mean,
that shit. We were fat, man.
we were fat little shit, man. But that's the way
Fuck that shit. No. I'm so
you were the one.
sorry.
No, girl,
I'm
we're
so
not fat.
I
We're
love
extra
myself. No, you
sexy.
don't love
well,
yourself. Look what you got to. I mean, I
well.
still love
Question.
myself.
No, right. I mean, look, I think that you guys all around, you always loved yourself.
Hmm.
Okay. I just to me, I think it was a lot more of in here in
Yes.
your mind of what you wanted to be to what you were.
Yes.
For what I'm saying.
Correct. And I mean, obviously, you guys know I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I'm not trying to be a stick figure because I've always been on the thicker end. But now I can tell you honestly, I love me. I understand that to be a good mom, I have to take care of me. Before, I was a sole provider to make sure that my husband was good, that the kids were good, that my parents were good. And I had this list of everybody who had to be good, and I was always in the end. And now I'm selfish. I am number one. And
Yes.
then
And that's
everyone falls
important.
underneath that. You know, everybody be like, no, tu mama, tu papa, they have to be the first ones. No,
No, you have
No.
to love number
me,
one in order
I've
to
never
me.
heard that advice
two.
before, but
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I guess I come from a really old school, your parents know it's me, me
You know the
first.
difference on that is, and my parents used to tell me that, because one, growing up, I learned how to cook. I know how to do things on my own. And so when I left the home, I didn't need to depend, even though I miss my mom's cooking, don't get me wrong, but I know how to cocinar. I know the basic stuff and stuff like that, right? And then over time, the more you practice, the more you get better at it, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
but I wasn't a smoocher. You know what I mean? I was independent. I had to do what I do now. Do I go check up on my parents? Exactly. I check
Of
them if they need
course.
help. Of course, I'm there. But you're right. You got to do you, because if you don't take care of yourself, who will? You know what I
Nobody.
mean?
Yeah.
Who's the
Nobody. And
provider in your own home?
There
You
you
that's
are.
go.
another
I mean,
reason why I go to therapy all the time too, because my mom has FARS and she lives with us, and it's a big strain on my
She has
family.
what?
She has FARS, and what
Look, don't
FARS
get me
is
wrong. I want to say I'm apologize because I thought I heard you wrong. I'm sorry. I thought you said farts, because I was
oh
like, what? What's
no,
what's going
she,
on there? Bad gas? I'm sorry.
no, she has FARS, and what FARS is it causes calcification in your brain. So basically, her
Okay.
brain's turning to stone.
Oh, I'm sorry to
As
hear that.
and
wow.
she's getting worse and worse, and it
Mm.
takes a big toll on the family. It's like having a third kid. So that's another reason why I choose to continue my therapy, because I still need to vent, even though I know she's never going to change. It's only going to get worse from now. I'm able to accept it and not dwell on, oh, well, how could, or be angry with her when she accidentally overfloods the toilet and leaves it like that for 2 days, or you know what I mean? That's just saying. But I
No,
mean, just little things
good.
like that. If she's cooking and leaves the stove on, I'm not going to get mad at her.
You look at it
Right.
from a different perspective. That's
Well,
important. That's good.
I think once you realize what she had was when you see it at a different perspective. Because when you
Hmm.
don't know, you're like, what the hell is wrong with this lady at this point? I mean, because I
Exactly.
believe, I mean, when you guys came down, I
First thing
said that. I was
July.
like, the hell's wrong with her? This
Because
is
one minute
not
she's okay and normal, and the next minute she's like a different friend.
Really?
Yeah, like
Oh,
totally different. Back in July, she would walk crooked. She would let her drool fall, almost like a stroke patient. And and then like 2 minutes later, she was normal. Right, Frank?
Wow.
yeah.
Is
And
she
um,
then
better now? Is she
Frank saw her.
I
Thought he
could tell you that I saw her Saturday night, and I went up to her. I mean, she knew exactly who I was from the get go. It wasn't even. I was like, "Hi." She's like, "Frankie." Right off rip. I mean, she recognized me. I gave her a hug. As we were sitting on the sofa, she came out and sat with us, and we were just talking crap about the old times, the old days. And she knew the stories, and she would laugh with us. So I saw her between July to now. I saw her 100% better than the last time.
yeah, that's just me commenting.
oh,
So
thank
just
you.
Uh,
checking the comment box. But I'm sorry, and I feel what you're feeling, and because my mom went through something similar, because my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and with that disease, she had it for 10 years, until she just, for what they described to me, was she forgot how to feed herself. She forgot to remember that food goes in the body and stuff like that, until God said, "Hey, this is your time." So It's very sad. And not only that, you got to go to work, then you come home, then you got more work because you got to take care of your moms and everything else. So that's a lot of stress. It
It is.
really
And then when
is.
you add dating and taking care of yourself 40
And that's
hours
if
and
you have
working
enough
from
time to
home.
date, right? Unless that
Well,
other significant other has the patience,
Thank
which
and
is
thank
very
God
important.
for my husband.
well,
Julio
I'll tell
has
you
lots of patience.
who actually I had to put Julio on salary because I couldn't keep affording him hourly to stay with Anna and take care of everybody.
Oh
You
hell, there
know.
you go, man. There
Yeah.
you go.
Hey,
Now
it's a
listen,
man to be able to put up with me and my mom and Christian,
She needs more than one therapist. She needs a few,
Ex-
right?
Exactly. Poor Julio needs one
yeah,
too.
yeah, I think he does because he just does. Like I said, I'm trying to say.
Well, that's good. At
So
least you found a man, so that's good, Anna. That is so good.
Found a good
yeah,
one.
that's great. So
But
what were
thanks
we
to
here? So
you for getting me over here. I found that man
Who was it?
you,
because of you. No, my
Who's
husband. If
you?
I wouldn't have moved here to Georgia when you introduced me to your cousin, I would have never been here in Georgia. And I moved in August and I met Julio in February the 9th.
Ah, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to meet that guy then.
Yeah. So it was because of you that I was here in Georgia.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All late, but congratulations. I
I
mean,
know, right?
It's only been like 40 years.
12
yeah, forget
years. That's
about it.
I'm
all.
teasing. I'm teasing.
Oh, but hey, see, so the good thing is that you got the relationship going and everything else. And for those that are not there yet, and that's okay. You don't got to rush the process
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, you got to live your life happy. And if you're not happy, you're not gonna make that other person happy, and then you're gonna go to that same cycle over and over and over again. Now, I think that we're leading on to the our next topic here, Frank, and that is
self care.
self-care.
Yes.
Exactly, which we already covered some of that stuff because Anna was saying about how she lost weight, watching her portions of food and also going to the gym, working out and stuff like that. So I like to turn this over to Liz. There's more than just working out, getting that proper diet, but what else could a person do to take care of themselves? Like, how do you take care of yourself?
Mine also consist of similarities because I let myself up to 300 pounds. And once I started working out and taking care of myself, everything started changing. And I'm not saying obviously that's the answer for everyone, but I I started my divorce happened around 2020, 2019, 2020. So the world was already changing. And I worked from home and I had two small children and I was helping distance teach one from home. So
Mm,
a lot of people could relate to not only was I dealing now with learning how to be on my own, I was also dealing with the stress of having to do everything at home because at least before I had the commute home to separate my emotions, to process my day, to think of a plan, everything was just mush. So meditation, I'm a very spiritual person, so I had to learn how to really connect to myself from my inner self. So how to meditate and take care of myself and it just I was able to really really understand myself as a person.
okay.
Good job.
I like
Yes. And yoga's good too.
no
Yes,
my
I do yoga, yeah.
you guys have that female's perspective, right? Frank, I know you've been through a lot. I mean, you and I talk. I think I'm not joking on this one, man, but it feels like a joke. But it's like every time I reconnect with you, you're
He
always
has
dropping
another
somebody.
ex-wife.
Somebody's already out of the picture. I'm like, bro, what's going on over there? I
we
mean,
make
am
it
I wrong? Am I wrong, Frank?
I think for no, I mean, look, for the better part of what 5, 7, 8, 9 years, when I split from my son's mom, I dated her a bit. Then I got together with someone else. We're together for about 5 years.
Mm.
Shit happens. You know, I'm seeing somebody again. You know, but it's just part of life of how it goes on. Like I'll tell you, I've been told, "Oh, you need time for yourself. You need time to do this. You got to be alone." Blah 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 blah.
You
I've been
think you have
alone.
codependency issues?
No,
No, it's
Ooh,
because
that's a
men
good
are
one.
so different than women. You guys like
No, because I
forget and
had
you're able to go
codependency.
on to the
All
next
right,
point.
now, wait a minute. Now we could debate on this one. Now, all right, hey,
I don't
John, you take the
know. I
gloves off.
believe I yeah, I'm
I
there with
let's take
you,
the
and I'm
blood
there with
I
you.
don't
because
have codependency issues. You know what? When I see something I want, I'm gonna go
mm,
after it.
Oh,
mm,
okay.
mm.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Exactly.
and
You
it
were
doesn't mean that
into
I
it.
can't be by myself because I can be by myself.
What is
I've
the
been by
longest you've
myself.
been by yourself?
2 days.
um.
Oh,
You're thinking really
Uh,
long and hard.
damn, yo, you
Yeah.
talking
I
about
don't remember.
algebra here, Liz? Come on, man. The guy
I
hasn't
No,
been in
we're
school
remember in
for
looking.
over 20
95,
years.
he wasn't even by
No,
himself.
well, look, but you got to realize this: in the past 20 years, I've been with
Juan and
three
Fulana
females.
and Maria and Chona.
Like relationship wise, has been three.
Yeah, but you also
Now
gotta somewhat count the in betweens because they somewhat count, don't they?
Yes, they
no.
do.
They
So okay,
do.
In
so
between
you
the
count.
gray.
So wait. So you mean to tell me that you count one night stands as a relationship?
That's still a relationship,
It's
brother.
the,
It
Sorry to
is
yes.
tell you.
sometimes. It's
Are
still a
you
form
dipping your
of
dip,
a
your
type
honey and
of
you dipping?
yeah.
If
Yeah,
the
you're
one I'm
sticking your
saying, did you
sticky
talk to her
line.
again?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh God.
All right, we're gonna have to have a little guys talk, man. Like our own podcast. We're gonna tell her how it really is. But
Yeah, I mean, but
That's
no.
what
But you
I
know what
said.
though?
Men can just move on faster than women.
Yes
They
and
can
no.
detach
It,
themselves.
it's all
um.
about the trust issue right there. Because in my perspective, I was married for 11 plus years. I think whatever number that was, the first one. But I think for men, or no, I'm not even gonna say men. I'm just say for me, the relationship should have been over. For one, because at the start things went south anyway. Because I didn't even let my family know. Okay, that I got married. Okay, so that was number one, gone,
That's a
done.
big red flag.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? Because then watch this. I had orders to go to Korea. Right? And 2 weeks before that, I got married. Then I had a family emergency in Puerto Rico. So I flew to Connecticut, met my parents to fly from there to Puerto Rico, right? And the only person that knew without me saying anything was one of my cousins. Okay. I was like, dude, you married, ain't you? And I just smiled. And
oh,
but
you
yet I
pulled
was
my
so nervous,
brother.
right? And then I'm Puerto Rico. I ended up telling my parents because my father kept asking, yo, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? He wouldn't leave me alone. I'm like, God damn it. So, anyways, so I spilled the beans, and he was like, "You better tell your mother." Wouldn't even let me. Wouldn't even let me. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I did. I said what I had to say, and of course, my mom was like, "You won't last 2 years. You're done." I and that's what straight up. That's what she told me. What happened? 2 years later, of course, it was already over. But me in my head was, you know what? Nah, it's not over. I gotta be a man. I gotta take my responsibilities. I gotta do what I gotta do. And then little did you know, I didn't know shit about relationship. I didn't know nothing about marriage, to be honest with you, because my first year of marriage, I was in Korea. Then I come home,
You were still
then I
single,
gotta
basically.
I gotta do something. You're right. I was used to being the single life. And then I wasn't in my best behavior either. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, I wasn't behaving right. Okay.
Nope.
And then once I started getting my act together, I said, yo, I gotta, be someone for my son. We got a son together and everything else. I gotta set that example. But then it's like that life cycle because what happens is everything's a honeymoon stage. Then you start getting that intensity of arguments leads to fights. But guess what? The problem was never solved. Because Frank, you and I know that in the military, sometimes or most of the time, if you're active duty, you're always training. So
Right.
now you're out of the house for 2, 3 weeks, sometimes a month. Then you come back, it's back to the honeymoon stage again. And so there's a cycle that was going on for the whole decade, and nothing was ever getting accomplished until one day I just said I had enough. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. Yes, were there domestic disputes? Yes, there was. Was there a few that were notified? Yes. Were there a lot that wasn't notified? Yes. There was so much going on, and it was so unhealthy that I realized, I can't do this no more. And I'll say it right here. I was the one that took initiative to get a divorce. And if it wasn't for my current wife right now, to help me through that process, and I'm not saying that I had to jump from one to the other because I split in Georgia. I spent 2 years still married, but living single, because then the family moved to Texas, right? She moved to Texas with my son, and I lived upstate New York. I started doing my life, doing my thing. So yeah, there's a little bit to where you could say that you got to find yourself and everything else, but I was so active. You know what I mean? And then I finally met someone, and yet I didn't even tell her I was still married. I was just going on with the flow until she asked me, "Hey, you married? What's going on?" And yeah, and I told her the truth.
But you
Now,
were already separated. You already went through that
right.
mentally. So
But
it was
by paper, I'm still officially married. You see what
Yeah,
I'm
but you
saying?
know what? I could tell you that, and I speak for myself, but I think it happens to a lot of people. Once you decide to end a relationship, okay, whether it ends at what right, but a lot of times you don't end it at that moment. Okay, sometimes the relationship is going to last a little longer for X, Y, Z reasons or whatever, and then you got to end it. So by the time you officially end it, and you tell this person, "Hey, that's it, we're done, we're not together," or "I don't want to be with you," I think most individuals have already checked out long beforehand.
Yeah, you're right.
and I think
You're
that's where
Okay.
absolutely right, because it's a lead in. But sometimes you may not think that you're checked out. At least in my perspective, it's like, man, let me do a self check. Is this what I really want?
Oh, I was in
You start
denial.
questioning. I mean, we all get through that.
I was
On
in
both parties, we
denial.
all get to that.
yeah, but I
But
think women always try to save it first.
yeah, but you save it for the wrong reason. Like for
Exactly.
instance, we have a child, so let's stay together for the child. No,
Yeah.
that is the wrong reason.
That is the worst
Because
reason to
Absolutely.
stay with
Yeah, but you
someone
know
with
what? Hold
I
children.
had
on.
enough
To
balls.
defend the women there,
no, you can't defend that. No, there's no
no, no,
defense
no,
on
no,
that.
It's
no, 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 no.
no.
I'm not. But I'm gonna defend the women here in a minute because that does not only happen to women.
No,
Yeah,
oh
it,
yeah.
it happens to the guys also.
So,
Because
nah, I
I
mean, I
I
was
would
one.
tell you like this,
I admit
and
that.
when my youngest was born, okay, 6 7 months down the line, his mother and I split.
Hmm.
All right, I found myself in the same situation that I found myself with the oldest child. All right,
Hmm.
where I was split with his
Lost.
mom. He was no, not lost. Where he was young, and I'm like, okay, how do I not repeat my past mistakes with my oldest, with my youngest, right?
I
Because
see
my
what you're
relation.
saying.
So I'm like, my life was repeating itself 10 years later. You follow me? So
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I gotta try to work this out with this woman because of my child. So I said, all right. I moved back into the house from one day to the next, and she's just looking at me like, "What are you doing here? You don't live here." And I just looked at her. I said, "I'm staying. I'm not going nowhere. We're gonna work things out, and we'll see how this goes." And that's what I did. And she finally agreed, also, whatever. And we lasted about a good 7 years after that.
Mm.
But was it really over back then? Yeah, it was. I was trying to see what I was trying to save it because of my child. In the long run, I have a good relationship with my son, but her and I really hated each other for a while.
Mm.
I think
So
everybody goes through that when you go through a divorce, though.
Yeah, man, women are evil.
Any type of sex.
Yeah,
Hey,
What?
not
I
all
heard
women.
too.
Men are just
No,
evil.
men is
Mm.
like, how did
Oh,
you
I'll
switch
sign
the
the
script?
papers. Yeah.
See, you see, Frank, how I started it. Look,
Mm,
No,
that's
no,
how do
no,
you
no,
how
no.
do
that
you how do
pistol,
Let
you
me
flip
that
tell
the
you,
pistol.
script? How you
I
turn
was
into the
5 months
victim? Get
pregnant
out of
when
my
I made
face.
the decision to leave my ex-husband because I
Man,
wasn't having it. I had to make that decision of, do I want my son to be raised like this man, or would I rather raise him on my own? And that's
mm.
exactly what I did. So, but like Frankie, I did try to make it work. That's why I got my son, because I
And
married
she
him
got
quick.
remarried to the same guy.
And you know what though, and that's the thing. And I'm glad we're on that topic because the fact that when it's time to split, it's probably the worst that gets out of people. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Um, for
My ex
mine
wanted my
was,
Doc Martens back.
she said, "What?
He wanted my Doc Martens back because he bought them for me.
Your Dan
That's
Martin?
when
What?
you
My
that's when
Doc
you turn petty.
Martens.
It was some boots.
It
That's
was
how
a
you turn
petty.
petty. That's how you
Boots?
turn petty. Boots,
Yep.
Oh
boots.
man, no, mine was when can I see my son? Now that was the problem. All right.
Yeah.
I don't care about the items. Shit. When my ex left, I had the movers come in, and so I split it in half. And luckily, my chain of command in the military saved me money. I didn't have to pay a penny because I was under orders to move to upstate New York. So what they did was they changed my orders a little bit. So it's like amending, like you're gonna go two-way. This package go over here and this package go over there. I did not have to waste not one penny. So I want to say thank you to
Nice.
the United States Army for that. But anyways, um, I tried to get to see my son for 2.5 years. Tried, you know, and for those, at that time, my son was about 10 years old.
Hmm.
That's the last time I had seen him when he was 10, right? And then I didn't get to see him until he was like 12 and a half. And throughout that time, I was like, yo, let me see my son. Let me see my son. I said, no, you got to come over here. You got to come over here. I said, no, no, no. I already know what's going to happen when I get there. You know, I'm going to put myself on the line to get arrested or something might happen. And then I'm screwed. And there goes my career. I think I'm smarter than that. Not going to happen. However, here's a suggestion. I buy the plane ticket. I have an escort. And no. It's never going to happen until the day, thanks to my wife right now, that when I did, got a lawyer, which I've never met my lawyer in Texas. Okay. So that's some good stuff right there. Paid a lawyer, and I wasn't making that much money back in the day. So he accepted the payments, and the payments were going through. And he still did the work until he got all the money, and she got served. And then all of a sudden, when you want to see your son,
Oh,
you
for
see what I'm
that child
saying?
support check.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is that child support was already happening because in Texas there's a website. So before you get divorced, you know, luckily enough, I was ahead of the game, and of course, I didn't do it by myself. I had a new set of chain of command, which I talked to other men that went through similar experiences and said, "Yo, make sure you do this, or they're gonna get you." All right, no problem. And then I had to study the law because every state is different. But
Mm.
then what a lot of people don't know, there is a federal law when you separate. Everyone's focused on, oh, the state will do this to you. It's automatic. It's the female side. I said, no, wrong answer. Even the lawyers within the army will tell you and mislead you. And I said, no, here it is in black and white. So I have to print everything. I should have been a lawyer myself, but I told the lawyer, say, hey, this is the federal law. This is the rules in the army and what she can have and what could be claimed and not claimed, because as a soldier, you're getting extra money to live maybe outside the base, right? Because there's no housing in the base. So let's say you're making $1,000 a month. Let's just suppose. Then all of a sudden, since you live off post or outside the base, you get an extra 1,000 for rent. You get an extra $500 for food. So you get extra benefits, but you can't count that as your income because once you're divorced, you don't get that anymore unless you have joint custody of the child or something like that. Then you still need to have a room for your dependent. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So with that, and I told him, look, this is the rules, this is the regulation, boom. So when I'm behind my back, my ex is trying to get more money, the lawyer goes, You accept this or no deal. Now she thought she was getting screwed over. How you going to get screwed over if you're already getting enough money per month? You have to do your part to fulfill that
Exactly.
as well, because
Correct.
it took two people to make this child, not
Hmm.
one. And
Exactly.
that's what a lot of now, that is my point of view. I'm sure that if you talk to
I
her,
have
that is
another totally different
her,
point of view
her point of view. You
because
know, go ahead.
I was a different type of woman. I didn't
Mhm.
ask for child support. I didn't get child support. He gave up parental rights because he didn't want to pay child support. This is the son that he made.
What?
I let him see him. The first time he saw him was when he was 3 years old. He only provided two checks of $250, which I only used for my son to buy my son stuff. 2 months. It wasn't until, and he had other kids as well. Um, Never went on food stamps. I always worked, got my education, and I did it on my own. So I never spoke bad about my ex to my son, because if he would have been a parent that wanted to be there, I would have let him. So I'm not that type of woman, and there aren't very many women that are willing to. It didn't work between me and you, but for my kid's sake, I'm going to make sure he's mentally okay and let him see his own. Let him see
Right.
for his own why. And of course, things as he got older, now he's 20, but as he got older, I was able to give him a little bit more what happened, what went on. But as a child, I never, never, never spoke ill about his birth father. I just all I would tell him was, he loves you in his own way. I didn't tell him, oh, your dad's not
That's
coming because he don't
important.
love you.
You'll let
He
him to decide
what type of
what
relationship.
the
That's important. That's very
Well,
yeah,
important.
I think kids, you know, will come to the conclusion and we'll see who the parent really is, or you know, on who they really are. There's no need to sit there and talk crap about them. Why?
No,
Mm-mm.
there's no need. There
Because
is
None.
no need.
what will happen there is that the kid is going to see things through your eyes,
Hmm.
and when they're old enough to realize that, oh my god, wait a minute,
That
this
wasn't
guy was,
true.
you
Then they
know,
resent the
right,
parent
the
that was.
other, you know, in this case, I will use your son and his sperm donor, as I call him, right?
Yes,
oh, I've been called
because
that
my
before.
Oh
husband
yeah,
is
me too.
yeah,
You know who else
But
called you that? That spammer on YouTube. That's a spammer right there.
oh, for
Hey, way to
sure.
go, spammer.
Yep,
But
yep.
no,
But
but you know what? You're absolutely right. I was one of those. I used to talk a lot of smack, but I was so when I did get my son 2 years, 2.5 years later, one, I was happy, and again, I have to thank my wife for that because, you know, she took me under her wing, even though she's never had a child, but she's like, "Look, you gotta stay focused, do this." And my mom used to tell me that too. Mira, cuando tiene tu hijo, portate bien, don't say nothing, blah blah blah. Remember, you only got him for a little bit. And I was like, yo, I understand. But when you have that other son, that other significant one, always calling to check up on him, I said, yo, he my time now. He's my time. You had your
Mhm.
time,
Hmm.
and I used to talk smack until be like, hey, watch your mouth, Now, was there talking smack about me? Of
Oh, I would
course, because the child tells me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's all right, it's okay, even though it's frustrating sometimes, and sometimes you want to tell them the truth, like, you know what your mama did. No, but you can't do that. You're
nope.
right.
exactly.
So
You have
you
to
just
bite the
gotta
tongue.
like this. And now to top it off, to end all this, I want to say by the time he was 17, he was already entering his senior year. I actually moved to Texas. Now, remind you, I left New York, went back to Georgia. Then from Georgia, I moved to Texas. That's where I ended my military career. I didn't say nothing to nobody. I just shut up at the door. That's 7 years without seeing my ex-wife. I knocked on the door. I said, hello. Now, talk about jaws dropping, right?
Mhm.
And then my son was like, Dad, what you doing here? And my first response is, visiting you, fool. Now let's go. I'm hungry. Let's go get something to eat, you know? But to do that in front of his mom, I had to do it that way because that way he knows there's no beef between mom and dad. So he could be comfortable. because now that I live there, he's going to visit me. We're going to go back and forth, you know, and mira, all is good. Now he just turned 24 years old. I'm proud that he is a father, even though he went through the same cycles I went through. He's separated from his girl, but he's taking care of his son, you
That's
know.
the important
And
thing.
I'm a
Yes.
proud grandfather, get to see him on Snapchat and everything else. So it is what it is. But that's part of life, man. And you would hate to see that cycle repeat from generation to generation. But he did it smartly. And I'm proud of him for that.
He broke the
Because he
chain.
didn't
Maybe he
Good for
broke the
him.
cycle.
Good for him.
because there was no police matter. There was no like, look, dad, I'm not happy anymore. I thought I knew what I was doing. And I was like, look, you the man. You made your choices. You need to solve it. I'm like, all I could tell you is stay away from the alcohol. Don't do drugs. Dad, I don't do drugs, but I love to drink. I'll say, well, at this particular time, you want to stay away from that. Be
Yep.
smart in the head. Handle your business. That's it. I
That's good.
can't tell you what to do because I'm gonna tell you what, you separate, you might your heart might get in the way. You may want to go back to her. I don't know, but you gotta make your decisions. She made his decision and he did it peacefully, and that is very rare that a relationship, when two parties go away, could be peaceful. Very rare, especially us Latinos. We always want to be loud and everything else. So,
And be the last word.
Hmm.
Always got
you
to
know
have
what I
the
mean?
last word.
But
That's
you
what.
don't think
He's
that's where
taking.
growth comes in? Growth comes in when you heal, when you just don't care. Because it gets to the point I was like, I don't want to hear any of that. I don't care. I don't want to hear the pettiness. I don't want to hear the I just don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'm fine. And I think
Exactly.
that's important too.
Yes,
I totally
absolutely.
agree. Yes. So finding yourself has a big part of being able to move on.
And actually just doing what makes you happy. So if you whatever it is that makes you happy, if you're not hurting yourself, if you're not hurting it, do whatever it
Other
is.
people.
Yeah,
And if you
other
need
people.
help, reach out to a doctor. Reach
Yeah.
out to somebody that is educated, that
Mm-hmm.
has a degree, that is able to guide you and help you work through any. And there's suicide hotlines. There's, all kinds of things that you can do to reach out if you feel like hurting yourself
Mm-hmm.
and just need that extra help. So don't be afraid. You're not the only one that's going through it, and just get that help for yourself. Help
Definitely.
yourself heal.
Absolutely. I think, ladies, you
Absolutely.
nailed it. I think you covered every aspect there is, and if they listen to last week's show compared to this week, I think on top of all that, the way you guys ended it is like, yes, seek help always. Don't be afraid to communicate with others. Keeping it within yourself will only make matters worse. It's that build up, and then
Mm-hmm.
once that build up, I mean, look, it's like pouring water in the cup, right? Sooner or later, it's gonna sip out. You're gonna snap. So it's always good to communicate.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you
Definitely.
so much.
And I
Liz,
Thank
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 you
you.
guys
you.
for
It was a
saving
Thank
me.
you.
pleasure.
Saving you. You need saving. You need internet saving.
From
You better
hell.
get a better,
It's because
better get
Frank's
a
Yeah,
better
busy.
I
That's
provider.
why.
yeah, the internet. I don't know what happened.
We'll
You
Oh,
definitely
fixed
discuss
it. That's
this.
why.
We'll discuss this later. But hey, before thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so
No, thank
much.
you guys. It was
thank
pleasure
Um,
being on here
yes.
again.
Once
We
again,
got to
this
do
show is
something
brought
with
to you
Mel
by the
too.
Clovercrest Media. Please visit clovercrestmedia.com. There are so many shows, but not quite like this one. And I guarantee you, by the end of the month, you're going to see a new introduction on this show. Anna, that's my
Oh,
gift to you for having
oh,
this.
thank you,
So,
Obi. Thank you.
yeah, I'm going to put bachata in there. No.
Yeah, you know me.
All right, so
Anyhow,
we'll
So
catch you guys, or and I will catch you guys next Monday with Mel. We're hoping to have her back. And who
nice.
knows? Hey, if you want to be a guest on In Between the Gray, you could always email in at inbetweenthe@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. We'll
actually,
be
you
And
can also follow up on Facebook, on Twitter, because I know that Twitter's
YouTube.
out there. That's right. So, hey, you know what? You guys got a wonderful show. I hope that it goes skies to the limit for you guys, because
Oh,
this
thank
is
you.
what's up. This is what's up.
Next
Thank
week,
you.
people.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Burn, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.